So our focus today is going to be problem solving with simple interest. Now, the thing about it is that, of course, we know how to write the formula down and find what our simple interest is going to be. But what happens if we don't know the principal, we don't know the rate, or we don't know the time? In this case, we're going to go ahead and use our algebraic principles in order to solve these problems and solve for an unknown. So, Mackenzie took out a loan at her local bank. She borrowed 400 at a simple interest rate. All right, so the principal was $400. The interest rate is going to be 8%, right? And we know that the interest is going to be $192. Okay, so how many years must the loan be out for if her interest payments will be a total of 192? Okay, so remember, if we look on our reference chart, for simple interest, I is equal to P times R times T, where I is going to be the interest amount, P is going to be the principal. All right, so that's basically the starting amount. This is going to be our rate, our interest rate, but of course we have to write a decimal. And then lastly, we have T, which is going to be a time. And our time is always going to be in years, has to be in years. If it's in months, go ahead and divide that by 12. So let's just go ahead and write our equation. I equals PRT. Now I'm just going to replace everything that I know. I gets replaced with 192 because I is 192. P is 400. I just like to put parentheses for my multiplication. R is going to be 8%, so that's 0.08 as a decimal. You just move it 2 times, 1, 2. And then the time we don't know. So I'm just going to leave it as T. We don't know what it is. So now we got 192 is going to be equal to 400 multiplied by 0.08. When we multiply that out, we get 32. So 192 is equal to 32T. Now, to get T by itself, we're basically saying 32 times what number equals 192. So if I just divide this side by 32, I get T all by itself, and then I just got 192 divided by 32. That's going to be equal to 6. Okay, so my answer is going to be 6 years. All right, go back to the question, make sure I answered it. How many years must the loan be out for if her interest payments will be a total of 192? That'll be 6 years. Okay, now let's go ahead and do the same thing. You deposit $1,200, so P is equal to $1,200, and you leave it alone for the next 4 years. So now we are given time, so time is 4 years. This is a simple interest account. If the interest on in the account is $96, what is the interest rate? So it seems like R is what we're missing here. So I equals P R T. So I is 96, P is 1,200, R we don't know, but then T is 4 years. Okay? Now, I know this looks a little weird, but remember, we're just multiplying everything. So there's no problem in me multiplying 1,200 by 4 if there's an R in the middle. That's perfectly fine. So 96 comes down, 96 is just 96. 1,200 times 4 is going to be equal to 4,800, but don't forget R. R is still here. 4,800 R. So I'm going to divide this by 4,800 and divide this by 4,800. Okay, there we go. So now, if I take 96 and divide it by 4,800, I get a value of R equaling 0.02. Okay, so the rate is going to be 0.02. I'm just going to go ahead and turn this into a percent by moving it back twice. 1, 2, so this is going to be 2%. So there was a 2% interest rate on this account. Okay, let's go ahead and just try 2 more problems, but you get the general idea. All you need to do is label what you have, write the equation, and then figure it out from there. So Will has 90 in interest in his simple interest account. So I is equal to 90. T is equal to 3 years. If the interest rate on the account is 12%, so I equals 12%, what is the principal of the loan and how much is in the account now? So I need to find the principal first, and I need to know the total in the account. Okay, so there's two things I'm doing here. So now I equals PRT, same equation. So I is 90, good. P, I don't know, so P is just P. And then R is 12%, so in order to write 12% as a decimal, here's the decimal place, I gotta move it back twice. So 0.12, that'll be 12%. And then my time is 3 years, so times 3. Okay, so let's multiply what we do know. So we got 0.12 times 3, which is going to give me 0.36. And I'm just going to put the p over to this side. So it's 0.36p. I'm going to divide by 0.36 on this side and divide by 0.36 on this side. Okay, when I do that, 90 divided by 0.36, I get a value of 250. So there was $250 initially in the account. Now, how much is in the account in total? I got to take 250 and I need to add how much I earned from interest. And total is going to be equal to the principal plus the interest. So total equals principal is 250 and the interest is 90. Alright, so 250 plus 90 is equal to $340. So even though I had an interest of $250, I had an interest of $90 with a principal of $250, but the total in the account is $250 plus 90, which is $340. Okay, let's just go over this very last example. Harvey borrowed some money from a simple interest account. He initially borrowed $620, so P equals 620 at a 3.5 interest rate. So I is going to be equal to 3.5%. Alright. If the total interest on the account over some time, so total interest was $108.50, how many years did Harvey borrow the money? So years is time, so T is what we're missing. I equals PRT. So I is, I don't know why I have a little I. This is actually supposed to be R, and this is supposed to be R as well. Okay, so there we go. Alright, so I is equal to $108.50. Principal is equal to 620. The rate is, this as a percent, so I got to move it back 2 times, 1, 2. So it's going to be 0.0035. I'm sorry, just 1 0, not 2. 0.35. There we go. And then the time is just T. Okay, 108.50 is just 108.50. So I'm going to take 620 and multiply it by 0.035. That's going to give me 22.75, and then T is just T. So I'm going to divide by 22.75, divide by 22.75. So 108.5 divided by 22.75, all right, will give me T. And then in this case, T is going to be equal to 5 years. All right, and that's basically it. So 620 multiplied by 0.035, and I actually think this is supposed to be 21.7 actually. There we go, 21.70, 21.70, and then when you divide it, it'll be 5 years. Okay, that's it.